I keep telling you, Thomas, said Gordon one day, you can't judge shortcuts regardless if it takes you to be early or late. Thomas was late yesterday from his branch line duties and wanted to take shortcuts to be early. I, for one thing, went down the wrong line and got myself too big for my buffers. And that line was by the small village and farmland of Calabai. Thankfully, no one else had used it since. I can go on that line, Thomas speculated. If you're too heavy and going fast, you'll end up in trouble. For me, I'm A-okay even when I'm just going a little bit faster, but not too fast. Regardless of what your beliefs are, don't go down that line, Gordon implored. Otherwise, you're taking your life into your own self. Thomas was on his way down to Province Gate, where the little engines visited the bigger engines. He had to drop off passengers who lived on his branch line. On the way, he noticed a small junction from the far left track. I think that's the shortcut that Gordon was talking about, Thomas wondered. When he dropped off the passengers, Skarloey was there. This made Thomas ask, do you know if there's any shortcuts are safe? I certainly don't know, Thomas, answered Skarloey. But I do know that repairs on these lines don't last forever. If it's damaged, it gets repaired. And the cycle continues. This didn't really answer Thomas's question. But does your railway have any shortcuts? If it do, does it save time? I don't know, Thomas. However, I do believe an old friend of ours knew all the routes and shortcuts, if any. It did only say about only a minute or two, but I wouldn't trust them. They could be dangerous. I'll take your word, Skarloey. I have to get going. And Thomas departed from the platform. He exchanged the coaches at the sheds with a few freight cars to be taken to the western side of the island. The freight was heavy and made Thomas slower than usual. This gave him an idea. Perhaps I might take that shortcut I saw earlier today. How bad can it be? And he did so. His fireman switched the points and headed down the shortcut. Thomas knew full well that shortcuts are dangerous, and doesn't matter if it saves time or not. Thomas decided to pick up some speed as he approached a downhill gradient, but wanted to go just a little bit faster. As he was going down the slight downhill, the weight of the freight cars made the rails sag and lean downward towards farmland. We better slow down, said his driver. He applied the brakes, but the freight car's weight made it slower to perform. Before Thomas's crew could do anything else to slow down, the mill cars slid off the tracks, bringing Thomas and the rest of the cars along. The crew got off just in time, and Thomas was dragged off the tracks, down the embankment, and into a fallow field. Thomas laid stiff in the cold mush soil. His crew were not amused. You silly engine, they reprimanded. Now look what's happened! I only wanted to take a shortcut to see if it's safe and saves time. Rubbish! You should have listened to Gordon and Skarloey. Shortcuts aren't necessarily safe, and this line is basically the same length as that portion of the main line. Thomas felt silly. When help arrived, Thomas was towed back to home by road. He was shortly repaired the next day as he came back ready to work. What did I tell you about using shortcuts, Thomas? You're right, Thomas said foolishly. You can't judge shortcuts regardless if they save time or not. They aren't always safe.